Hi, and welcome to Naturally Kim's Knitting. My name's Kim. I'm your hostess. Um, I'm back from California. Yay. And boo, because I had so much fun out there with my grandkids, my daughter, my son-in-law. Such a wonderful, wonderful time, and I'm so blessed that they're willing to have me out there for 5 weeks at a time. Not everybody can handle having their mother or their mother-in-law around for 5 weeks, but bless their hearts, they did. Anyways, um, welcome everybody. I want to welcome you, whether you're a new viewer or whether this is your 22nd time to watch this episode. I love you guys all. Hugs out to y'all. Um, you're going to see me looking over at my computer screen today because I'm still not quite back in the podcast mode. So I'll be looking up my show notes quite a bit today. This has the potential of being a rather short episode because I've been home 2 days. So I've not been able to work on a lot. But before I go any farther, let me tell you, this is episode 22B. Because for those of you who do follow me, you will notice that I finished my granddaughter's tunic dress, and I put the Ayla dress by Dress Cow Design, um, and she wanted to do a last podcast with Grandma, so how could I say no? It's a minute and a half long, but the dress is gorgeous, or the tunic is gorgeous. I invite you to please go check it out. Like I said, this is episode 22B. Today is Friday, July 15th, and I'm sorry it's not Wednesday, but Wednesday I was flying and it would have been very hard for me to make a podcast. But today I'm home. I'm a little bit more over my jet lag than I have been, a little bit. So I thought I would go ahead and try this today rather than wait another whole week. Okay, now I said this has the potential of being a semi-short episode because, like I said, I didn't take a lot of my things with me. So the only things I really have to show are the things that I've worked on either on the plane or yesterday. Plus I have one thing I'm going to be starting today, which I'm going to show off. So as far as the things that are on my needles, I have my milkweed sweater jacket by Carol Sunday, but I'm not going to show it. It's no farther than it was the last time I was at home. That's by Ella Rae Classic. I'm sorry, it's in the Ella Rae Classic Heather. Then same thing with my 10-stitch blanket by Frankie's Knitted Stuff. That's a filler project, no deadline on it, so I'm not too worried about when I get it out. But one thing I did cast on, sat down in the plane on Wednesday, and I decided to start on my second There and Back Again sock. And this is out of the Knit Picks Stroll Tweed in the Forest Heather. So you can see the little flecks in there. Isn't that pretty? And it's got a Gryffindor stitch marker. So I did start that on the plane. Wasn't able to work on it yesterday. So this is what I did between California and Chicago. Then when I caught the plane from Chicago to Dayton, the lights were all out on the plane. It was very, very late. And I didn't think I should get my knitting out and disturb everybody. So I didn't get it out for the last leg. But then I also have, yesterday, I did start, because the whole 5 weeks I was gone, I didn't make any children's chemo caps. So I started one yesterday. This is going to be a little bit bigger. I want to see how it looks. But this is out of the Knit Picks Chroma Worsted Colorway Waterfall. And I did this on size US 6 or 4.5 millimeters. I like the color. I think that's going to be gorgeous when it's done. I think that's it for what I've actually worked on. Just a minute, I got a little tangle here. Didn't realize that. So for what I've worked on, I'm sorry. Now, as far as something I'm starting today, I'm going to, it's going to be my own design. But I want to make a little t-shirt for my grandson with a little rocket on the front. And I'm using Knit Picks Cotton out of the Rocket colorway, which is what gave me the idea. And like I said, that's going to be for my grandbaby. But I'm going to use my own pattern, my own design, because I haven't seen anything out there with a rocket pattern on it, and I really would like to make him something. I made his sister the tunic, which it took me the whole 5 weeks to make, but that wasn't because of the tunic. It was because my granddaughter was loving it, and needles fell or stitches fell off. I was loving it, stitches fell off, made a mistake, had to restart it. So, little silly things. So, hey, that's okay. Um, I think, yeah, that's the t-shirt for my grandson. So the things as I have finished this week, I have finished the Ayla dress, which I do not have with me because how could I make it for my granddaughter and then bring it home with me? Like I said, if you would like to see that, see the little video before this one, 22, or mini episode 22, and there it is. It is a beautiful, beautiful little tunic, and she loves it. She models it, everything. So, hey. Okay, so on to the things that have made me happy. Well, needless to say, seeing my California family has made me extremely happy. But coming home, I'm out at Sacramento Airport waiting for my plane, and my daughter and I, my daughter and her kids and I went out for lunch first and everything. And so we got there, and I had an hour and 15, probably about an hour and a half before it was supposed to be time for checking in for my plane. All the planes were delayed because of the storm that was hitting the Midwest. So I had to wait. And I was grumping because that could have been time I spent with my grandkids. But we were supposed to land in Dayton around 12, and we got here about 2:30. Well, I got home about 2:30. So it was a long trip. But hate to leave my California family, but it's nice to be home, and I'm not going to cry. Something else I'm happy for, and I mention this quite often, Skype, because yesterday my grandbaby called me. Made me very happy. Sorry, I'm still getting over jet lag, you could tell. So while I was gone, I get home and my husband had a big old stack of mail, books to be reviewed and other things. And one of the things I got was a sock blank from Gail's Art. Isn't that beautiful? And this one is called Shell. You can see why. But isn't that beautiful? I haven't even been able to work up the last one that she sent yet. But here is the next one. I just love that. So anyways, and then she also sent along, which I've been amazed that I haven't opened these, two wonderful suckers, lollipops. This one cotton candy, and this one's raspberry and cheesecake. I'm surprised I haven't opened that one. Cheesecake, my favorite. Okay, and then when I got out to my daughter, I knew I had won this, but I hadn't been out to California, and I didn't want her to mail something out to me. But part of what got me into making children's chemo caps was this little thing they had at their Lambtown Festival in Dixon. And for every cap that you made, you were given an entry into a drawing for free yarn. And so anytime there's a drawing for free yarn, of course, I've got to enter it. And not only did I enter it, but I won. Isn't that beautiful? It's 110%, 110%, yeah, 100% alpaca. Each skein is 250 yards, approximately 50 grams. It's fingering or sock weight, and it's hand dyed by Black Diamond Creations. They hand raise, hand dye, and hand make their own yarns. But isn't that gorgeous? 2 skeins of that. It's going to have to go, well, I will have to do some figuring out, but I'll make a little lightweight chemo cap out of that probably, because either that or a cowl. I haven't decided. But this is dark denim color. I just love this. It's so beautiful. So I think that's it for what's made me happy. Oh no, I have one other thing. I came home. My flower garden and my herb garden, I wish I'd have taken pictures. Beautiful. Just beautiful. So, other than my husband wasn't sure about one plant, which was not supposed to be there. Being a horticulture major, we learned that a weed is any plant that you do not want someplace. And so, this is, in everybody else's terms, a weed, but it was a weed for me too, because I didn't plant it there. I didn't want it there, but my goodness, they had thick old stalks on them by now. So I pulled some out. My husband pulled the rest out yesterday. So, okay. So what I have been reading, watching, and listening to. Well, I finished reading the Michael Pearson's Traditional Knitting. I have ideas for what I'm going to do. My husband wants me to make his sweater first, since it's going to be my own design, and and he didn't want me to worry about making mistakes on my son's sweater. So I'm going to make his first, but I'm going to order the yarn probably later today. Then I was listening to a dramatization on Fellowship of the Rings. Yes, it had Ian McKellen's voice in it, and that was good. But I don't know what I was thinking. A dramatization means there's no narration in it. I really didn't like it. I made it about halfway through it. I love the book. I mean, I've read the book many times, but I did not care for this version of audiobook. But that's just me. Other people who don't care about the narration and just wants to hear the voices and the or the talking parts throughout the book, this might be for them, but it wasn't for me. Then while I was years ago, my husband and I had started watching Duchess of Duke Street. It's a British television show. Was on a few years ago, and while I was out at my daughter's, I saw it was free on Prime, so I had to bring it up and watch it. And I love it. I saw the first episode, and or we saw the first episode, and it's so good. And then while I was out at my daughter's, she and I had watched Primeval when it came out on. It was on network TV years ago, but I don't remember ever seeing the British version of it. So while I was out at my daughter's, I downloaded all 5 or 6 episodes of the first series, and that's what I watched on the way home. And I was just 15 minutes short of estimating, so I watched the last 15 minutes, even